Thank you for joining us on the Grim and Bloody Theater. I'm Kevin Nicholson, horrornews.net writer and writer about town, I guess. And with me, as usual, is our usual suspects: Al Omega, Creature Features host, Joe Flynn, horror host for CreaTV,
hello,
and Anthony Duran, the producer of this whole shindig, and
hello,
the founder of Desperate Film Fest. And with us, a very special guest tonight, very special show tonight, is Itai Guberman, a filmmaker. I want to say you're a producer, director, writer. You probably score your films as well. No,
I'm not a musician. No.
You're not a musician, not musically.
No.
Okay.
He's not the jack of all trades that you brought him up to be, Kevin.
Okay, well,
he's not.
Maybe
I'm more a writer director than anything else, but also a producer. Almost not by choice, but
All right. Well, in any case, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Now, I want to start with, because I first became aware of you with I joined with your My Indie Productions website as a writer and so forth, and I had the good fortune to review some of the films that we're going to be talking about today. And I see even some of let's talk about your first work, which was Third Temple. Or not, well, your work from 2014, let's say.
Yeah.
I think you did some stuff earlier than that. But Third Temple, this is quite the powerful political statement that you're making with this. And I just was, to me, there's a little bit of a mixture of not just horror but real life horror going on here with the whole thing about government corruption and so forth. What was your kind of idea to express with this film?
Well, when I came up with the idea for Third Temple, I was studying at film school at university in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually born in Israel, and in my teen years we moved to Australia, and I was raised there, and then I moved back to Israel for about a decade. Recently moved back to Australia. So in that decade where I was actually living there as an adult, I went back to study to do a master's degree in film and Tel Aviv University, and Third Temple was my thesis project for the for the master's degree. And being in that sort of environment, like politics, it's just a very very strong thing there. It's like it's hugely dominant, on TV, newspapers, whatever media, it's everywhere. And the corruption in politics, I mean, not just in Israel, but everywhere really, has become so sort of evident. It's like we know it's there and we don't have a choice and we live with it. And it just got me thinking, what would happen if one day we will all get sort of pushed too far? And that sort of gave me the idea. I sort of don't want to spoil the film too much, but I wrote pretty much a treatment for it, like on a bus ride from university to my home one day, and just went and that was the first My Indie project, My Indie Productions project. That's what you were trying to sort of clarify before. It's not my first film, but it's the first film I did under My Indie Productions. And I took that treatment to my then partner in the company, Asaf Angel, and we went through it, and he loved it, and we just decided that is it. We were going to do that. Initially, it was going to be a feature, making it sort of under, university budgets and all of that. We brought it back to a short, and it's a long short, 28 minutes. but yeah, it's just you when you live that sort of in that political climate, you get ideas. I mean,
Well,
being a writer, I mean, I would never sort of advocate this, kind of thing for things to go that far. But cinematically, I thought that was a great idea and decided to make the film. And actually, a lot of people who read the script then, even some who saw the film after, told me, don't get it out there. And I said, no, I'm getting it out there. They said, no, this is dangerous stuff. You shouldn't, this could lose other projects for you. You can get in trouble. And I said, no, this is art. This is what I have to say. I'm going to say it. I'm actually not condoning any sort of one side. I'm just sort of showing a picture of, how things could actually end up. Maybe not in the same detail, but it could sort of go that way. That sort of distance from, governments actually serving the public, that sort of does not happen anymore. Governments are only there to serve themselves. So, I thought let's just say it in film. I'm not a political activist or anything like that, so I wasn't going to go out and, protest or try and get heard in that regard. But I thought, well, I'm an artist, so I'll write the script and I'll show it in that way. So I actually think that worked out well.
But that's the power that filmmakers have, to be
Absolutely.
able to make the statement, but couch it in the film.
Yeah, the main reason we went ahead with it was because we wanted to get people talking.
Yeah.
And to an extent, we've sort of achieved that. So quite happy with it.
Since you've made this film, you've got it out there. It's going. I'm guessing it's going to festivals and so forth.
It already has. The film was released sort of mid to late, I think, 2014.
Okay.
It is set in 2017, and it went through a long festival run because in the beginning, it wasn't being accepted to festivals because it was too long. Festivals actually told me, the film is great. It's better than most of the stuff we have, but because it's 28 minutes, it's too long for the festivals, and we can't screen it. We'd rather screen, 4 7-minute films instead. And I said, I understand what you're saying. I disagree with it. If it's better than those 4 films, you should still show that one film. But, it is what it is. And I heard that from quite a few festivals. And at one point, I sort of withdrew the film from festivals and decided not to submit it. And then later, it sort of, I think when COVID started, I sort of decided, let's send it out there and see, if the climate has changed, because everything has gone online. All of a sudden, physical festivals were not so much the thing because they didn't have a choice. All of a sudden, it started getting accepted into more and more festivals. So it's sort of still around, but I'm not submitting it much now.
Was it accepted in the online variety, like the virtual film festivals?
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, well, 28 minutes. Go ahead.
My question I was going with here was,
sure.
Have you had any negative repercussions for putting this film out there? Being dangerous thoughts and all. That's what film and books is all about.
Well, when I was still in Israel, the situation there is that, I don't know for sure, but this is what I was told. The funding bodies there for film are government bodies. And they said, look, any film that you will submit after that for funding, you will never get funded. And I've only submitted maybe one, maybe 2 after that, but and they didn't get approved. I don't know if that was the reason, but because it's that hard to get approved anyway. But it sort of made me think, there's no point in me trying to get that sort of government funding anymore. The government and I sort of, I think there's too much of a distance.
So many people do these days.
It's supposed to be the arts, as part of the government, but yeah.
By the way, I do have a question. What inspired you to become a filmmaker?
What inspired me to become a filmmaker? I always thought when I was younger that I was going to go into film in some capacity. I wasn't sure which. I thought it would be more as a script writer than anything, because as a young kid, I used to write short stories and, and other things. But writing was a big thing. I was just a big reader and I watched a lot of films. I knew, all the actors, probably more than I do today. I think I forgot a lot over time. But my mom was even trying to push me to film reviewing and things like that because I was so sort of knowledgeable in that area. But somewhere along the way, I think arts in general, I had to sort of make a decision if I'm going to go and study at university. Should I go and study arts, which means I'm never going to make any money? Or should I go and study something else that potentially gives me some sort of, something to fall back on? So I actually went and studied business. I was also good in that. But when I finished my business degree, I was 21. And a couple of years after that, my good friend at the time, Peter Angel, he's passed away last year, but he sort of came to me and said, we've been talking about this for a long time. Why don't we just write a script, make a film? And I said to him, okay, we've never done that before. And he said, how hard can it be? And I said, you know what? Okay, let's do it. So we wrote a script together. We wrote this sort of a crime comedy. And this is sort of pre-Facebook days, and the internet wasn't what it is today, although it did exist at the time. I think that was about I can't even remember, 2005, I think. And we went and made a 10-minute short. We basically got on online forums and talked to some people who, someone who had a camera and was willing to come and volunteer their time and be the cinematographer, who ended up being my co-director as well. We just sort of recruited friends to help out, some people who knew a little bit about, electricity type, not electricians, but who knew their way around it, became our gaffers and all kind of helpers on set. And we made that film and sent it out to, I don't know, about 5 festivals, and it made it into 2, and it was screened in the US and in Canada and something. And after making that film, I think while we were sort of still in the editing suite, I was there with the editor and, talking about things. And there were issues because we shot this over one night, really. So there were issues with, let's call them challenges, problems, whatever people want to call them, with the footage. And they weren't sure, if we can solve it, what can we do? We need to go and shoot more. And I just said, no, we don't have to shoot more. Just take that and use that over there and go and spin that way and move this and move that. And I just solved everything. We had a movie. And when I could see that actually worked, I knew that I was going to be, a filmmaker from then on. I was pretty sure that I've got a good handle of it, even though I'm not technical in any way whatsoever. I can't edit to save my life. I'm not the man behind the camera. I know it all, in theory, really well. But as far as the, jack of all trades, which we were talking about before, I certainly am not. So, yeah.
Here I was trying to build you up, and here you are, tearing yourself down.
No, not at all. I think
Kidding.
I started fairly late with filmmaking. I was 36, I think.
I didn't start until I was retired.
I was going to say, is there ever an age where you can't start really?
No, I don't think so. But to start with technical stuff when you're not technologically inclined.
Oh, true. Anyway, yeah, that would create a learning curve.
It was too late for me. I even when I did my my master's degree, part of the course was editing, and I had to learn it to pass exams and all the rest of it. But as soon as the exams were over, I forgot everything. I sat there in the editing suite trying to edit something, and I couldn't remember a thing. And I just realized that's not for me. I need someone to press the buttons, but I know how to tell them what to do, how to do it, what to move where, and how to solve all the problems that need to be solved. So that's why, I always work in sort of some sort of collaborations, partnerships with people in that regard.
I wanted to talk about your, if we can move on to your short film, Ivy, that had a very successful run. It starts off, I think, and you can go ahead and correct me. It starts off as your everyday kind of agoraphobic, I don't want to go outside, I think you lead audiences in a place where we've all been there before. Maybe it's like a breakup. He doesn't want to go outside. Something horrific happened, with his girlfriend, his partner, significant other. But then there's the twist, and I think that's what.
Well,
really,
we don't talk about the twist.
we don't talk about the twist. There's something
that would be spoiling.
Yeah, there's a little something. But
it's just
Tell us your audience reactions after watching the full thing, and because the poster has every single Laurel, you kind of have the sense that I'm gonna be watching something that a lot of people across the world have already seen. So I'm probably going to be in good hands, in the next 10 some odd minutes. You want to talk about your experience with Ivy in making the short and your reaction to everybody, picking up the film for the festivals and audience reactions?
The thing with Ivy is it wasn't meant to be a standalone short. It's actually part of a feature film that I'm actually still working on. It's now at least 2 years in delay because of COVID. We've already shot half of it. And Ivy is sort of like a segment. It's not exactly an anthology, but I guess you could call it that. And while we started shooting that feature, and Ivy was the first one we shot. And after we shot it, I decided, let's just edit it as a short on its own, send it out to festivals, and see what the reception is like. Just to know if we should keep investing all this money into this feature. And if I had to gamble, I knew it was going to do well. I just didn't know how well, because you just never know. So I remember sending it out and the first few festivals and sort of waiting on that response from them to see if it'll make it in or not. And even though I felt like it should, as every filmmaker should feel about their film, that it should make it into every festival it gets submitted to, I knew that films don't get accepted into a large percentage of festivals they're sent into. So the response was kind of overwhelming in that regard. I expected the percentage to be a lot less, and it made it into a lot of festivals, and it won 13 awards, I think. So yeah, very, very happy with that one. And again, it was just one of those ideas. It just sort of came to me, and I put it on paper, and Asaf was my partner in the company at the time. I showed him the treatment, and he read it, and I remember his jaw just dropped, and he went, "We have to do this." And I said, "Yeah, we did." So yeah, it's just one of those things. Too many things happened along the way to sort of prevent the feature from coming out. The feature is called Revelation. I don't know. I still hope that I'll finish shooting it. It's just that with what's going on in the world right now, I just don't know. I was shooting it in Israel. I was supposed to get back there in May of 2020 to finish it. And I still have not been able to, to fly back there to finish a film, or, to put money into a film that could get shut down at any minute because of COVID. So it's a tough one. But yeah, the festival experience was great. It was, obviously I couldn't really make it to many festivals because most of them weren't, in the countries I was living in. But yeah, it was, We also had another film that was older. It was Dolphin, which was being submitted at the same time. So I had Third Temple and Dolphin and Ivy all going to festivals around the same time and getting accepted. And I was, I think at some point I was even lost myself as to which film made it into what festival and all of that. So definitely a positive problem to have.
Well, you were very kind enough to provide us with trailers, I think, for the 3 films. And what we'd like to do is show folks the trailer and have you say a few words about, the trailer, like what we're about to see in the trailer, and then we'll pause for a minute, and then Anthony can insert the trailer and do his magic as a producer. Would you mind if we take care of that?
Sure thing.
All right. Well, the first one will be Third Temple. Talk a little bit about what folks are going to see with this trailer, coming in, and then we'll pause.
Well, Third Temple is it's a 28-minute political thriller. It's one that will maybe forever be my favorite, because I like the depth of the story. It's a very, very dark piece. It's it's one that you need to see to sort of work out whether it's for you or not. The reception for it has been mainly, largely positive. There have been a few people who had problem with it, thinking that it's a bit slow in parts, and I don't have a problem with that. It's made out to be that way, and that serves a purpose. It just doesn't work for everyone. But yeah, I think a lot of people will enjoy it.
Let's roll it.
Roll it, guys.
אז מדבריך ניתן להסיק שלא מדובר כאן באירוע לאומני, לא מדובר בארגון טרור. ומה בקשר לחבר הכנסת פלס?
אבנר פלס, כוכב עולה בזירה הפוליטית.
מחדל ביטחוני בממדים כאלה לא הראה מאז רצח רבין.
דינה, אל תעשי את זה.
אני יודע מי אתה.
יכול להיות שיש להם אג'נדה אחרת לגמרי שלא חשבנו עליה?
יש כאן משהו שאנחנו עדיין לא מבינים עד הסוף.
מה הם רוצים?
האופי המבצעי דוחה את הספקולציה.
בשלב הזה אני לא יכול לאשר או להפריך.
תגובה, מישהו.
לפעמים בשביל לבנות, צריך קודם להרוס.
And we're back.
And we're back. Okay, so so the next one is you go in a little bit different route with Dolphin.
Dolphin, yeah.
And this is quite a disturbing film in its own way. But Ali, go ahead and give us a run up to the trailer for Dolphin.
Dolphin is a short revenge thriller. This one was there's actually an interesting story behind it, but we can talk about it if you guys want after seeing the teaser.
Sure.
The actor in it, that's actually Asaf Angel, who I talked about before, who was my partner in 90 Productions, an accomplished actor, writer, director. That film was actually shot earlier, before Third Temple. It was a very, very low budget affair that ended up being put on the shelf for a long time because we had issues with the music, with copyright. I sort of dusted it off in 2016 and re-edited the film and released it, and it experienced quite a bit of festival success, won a few awards, some directing awards, and it won 2 awards for Inbal Eisenberg, who's the lead actress in it. She
Great.
is fantastic. Yeah, check it out.
So this is the trailer for Dolphin. Enjoy, guys.
מה שאני קטנה הייתי מתה עליהם. למה חשבת?
אז תגיד, זה הקטע שאתה עושה עם כל הבחורות שאתה מביא לדירה?
לא עשיתי כלום.
And we're back.
Yes, a disturbing, film in a different way. It kind of reminds me a little bit of movies like Extremities, where it kind of, forces you to relate to somebody who has been a rape victim or who has been traumatized by sexual assault, and they have an opportunity to get a manner of revenge. And this is a disturbing, to me, it was an unsettling film to watch and quite powerful, actually. The next up is Ivy.
Yes, crowd
go
favorite.
Go ahead.
I love this one.
Go ahead, Itai, and give a run-up for this one.
We discussed Ivy quite a bit before. So Ivy is more your sort of psychological horror, I would say. It is actually my first film that is made in English under my indie productions. The first two were in Hebrew. It has been a crowd favorite, but yeah, there's not so much more that I can say about it anymore. We've talked about it quite a bit, but yeah, just it's definitely one that I would say is worth checking out, and hopefully it'll be released eventually as part of Revelation, as well as currently it's on VOD as a short. But yeah, check it out.
Let's roll the trailer for Ivy. Let's do it.
Need to get over it and move on.
And she's not coming back.
Why don't you mind your own business?
We can be family again.
Ivy!
And we're back.
And
I hope we can see the feature. You know what? If the pandemic continues and we're not able to see your feature for a while, it would be good to have a limited screening of Ivy, just a short. We would definitely enjoy something like that. So something to think about. It's been all across the world, there and back again. And I before the show, I checked the Film Freeway for Death Parade Film Fest. I couldn't find it on the Death Parade Film Fest. You forgot about us.
Hint.
Everywhere else but us.
Could you be more subtle?
I think that
all the big places.
I think that after 2020, I only sent it to festivals who basically sent us.
I'm just joking. Don't worry. Yeah, we didn't.
No, but I don't even know how long has the festival been in existence.
We started in 2019.
Yeah,
that was the first one.
I started like the festival rounds in 2017.
Okay, yeah.
But I remember missing out on a lot of festivals because of missing out just on dates. Really, it was almost like a full-time job, applying to festivals.
Yeah, and and considering how many festivals you submitted to, you just got accepted. Each one has its own fee, and that's
Today, I talk to other filmmakers, and I know that most of them, budget for submitting to about at least 200 festivals or something like that. And it's crazy. I was like, I never did that. That would be, too much. I submitted Ivy to something like 50 something festivals. But yeah, got nearly, I think, 40 official selections, so way above what I expected.
You are welcome to submit to our festival, which we hope is coming up again this year.
Yes,
you would be more than welcome.
Shit, yeah, it is.
Send a fee waiver my way, I'll send it in.
Cool.
You got it.
we've already finished with the festivals for all those films. But every now and again, it gets like what I would term, I guess, an invitation, and I still submit it every now and again for those. All three have made it into a couple of festivals that are still coming up this year, which again was a surprise. But we got the invitation. I sent them in; they got accepted. So.
Well, I'm going to be the one that champions Dolphin because that is such a dark. Film, almost dealing with personal demons and so forth. And it's a film that is troubling for me to watch. I was that gripped by it. And I really would like to see, success with all three, films in some form or another, continued success, I should say, whether you expand them to a feature or whether you include them into something bigger, or whether you just continue to have the laurels accumulated.
Well, Third Temple and Dolphin, we've actually put them up together on a DVD, just sort of for us in the past. We haven't really released it yet, but we've released it as a double on VOD.
Okay.
So people can watch it there. It's on Angerman Distribution.
Now, is there attempt to or an interest in putting that out in distribution as a DVD, or
if we can work out some sort of a distribution, I guess the right situation in distribution, we will do it. But for now, the cost of getting them made is basically the problem. You just never know if you're going to sell enough. You're going to get stuck with a ton of DVDs. I know that's usually the case. People express interest that they want to buy it, but eventually, when you do put them out on the market, very few sell. It's a tough situation to be in. Making films, we can't lose any more money. So we try stuff like pre-orders and stuff like that. And that's the situation we're looking at doing at the moment, doing a pre-order. If we get enough ordered, then we can put an order through and get them made. Otherwise,
that almost sounds like what Warner's does with their archive, collection, which is essentially print to order in some instances. So I hope that works out. I hope that
I'd love to see. That's even more expensive, but they can.
Well, right, yeah, yeah. But I mean, I hope that I hope I hope you continue to have some success with with those. Like I said, Dolphin.
Much appreciated.
Anthony, if you thought Ivy was a powerful film, Dolphin.
I gotta see Dolphin. Yes.
Yeah.
Watch it.
It goes. Yeah. It goes there. It goes to places. It darkening the mind.
Nice.
That you don't think, because this girl has just been like ravaged by rape, and what are you willing to do at that point?
Well,
remember, kid, no spoilers. No.
Oh, that's
spoilers.
right. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much.
Jeez, Kevin, you gave away
Kevin's fired. Good night,
Blue slip
Kevin.
sinks ships. Come on.
That's
It's
right.
funny when you talk about it, like as far as powerful, I kind of think that it's just different, for every viewer.
Yeah.
Most people would say that I think Third Temple is the most powerful of the three. But I don't know, they just kind of all have their
It depends on
different texts.
Right.
It depends what you can relate to, I guess. But they're all in that sort of dark area, which is where kind of I like to be.
Well, see, it's funny because I like films about government corruption and about that are more of environmental or epic, tales. And I can also think that an independent a character drama, a small character drama about someone dealing with suicide or something is just as affecting. And so, it all depends, like you said, how you look at it.
Well, I have scripts for different sort of genres as well. It's not, I actually didn't really start in horror. Even Third Temple is more a thriller than a horror, though it deals with, terror. But
you started in teen coming of age movies instead?
No, but in comedy.
That's a lot of horror right there. I mean,
I started in comedy. I think that actually there's a lot of similarities with horror and comedy, but I think that's also why when I write thrillers or horror, I tend to take them, even darker than most people would, because I like to separate them from comedy. I'm less likely to make a slasher film or something like that, because there's a little bit of comedy in it because it's been done before, and you see everything. I don't know, all the death scenes and stuff like that are usually a reference to something else, and I sort of don't like to be in that sort of area. So I go darker. I like the philosophy behind things, the worldview, I guess, in a way that gets told through a story that has nothing to do with that worldview, at face value. But when you sort of dig deeper, you kind of understand, hey, there's something more to this. I'm a big fan of subtext. But I started in comedy. Actually, I even wrote and made a web series called The Bruised Springsteens.
I saw parts of that.
The Bruised Springsteens. I love that name.
Yeah, and we're actually now editing that into a feature film, which will come out later this year.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I wrote 3, I think, feature comedies before I even, wrote my first any other type of feature. I was more in comedy. But yeah, I like horror and, dark thrillers, and I never wanted to be one type of director or one type of writer, just in one genre, one subgenre. I like to go where the ideas take me. So
awesome. And again, as we talked about earlier, if you're in Hollywood, you can't do that.
Yeah, in Hollywood, I don't think you can make anything original anymore either. It's all been done before. It's just the sequels and prequels and reboots and all of that. It just doesn't interest me. I like to find things that, they say that you can't do anything original anymore. There's nothing new anymore. I disagree. I think you can take something that exists in some sort of way and put your own twist on that to make it different enough that it is original. so I always try to make things that have not been done before.
Very good. By the way, what are you working on next?
Well, that's the situation right now. Is I'm trying to work out on, whether I can actually finish Revelation anytime soon, or should I sort of move on to something else? At the moment, I'm actually working more on writing scripts that will potentially, be directed, made by other people. Some in the US. In talks, sort of in partnership with someone now on a project that I can't actually talk about in detail, but let's just say that there's a...
Come on, give us something.
Well, it's a
John Carpenter is doing
a trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Although I have to say that those two posters behind you, what I was saying before about the the difference between them. I consider The Thing to potentially be the best horror film of all time, and I consider Halloween to be potentially the most overrated. I think
you actually got Anthony teary-eyed right there.
Yeah, but I think now it's gone because I just said what I said about Halloween.
Oh no. There is, as I would always say, people have their own picks of horror films. It doesn't matter if I loved Halloween and you don't, or you say it's overrated, hey, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to say,
oh, no, you can't disagree. That's not a problem.
Right.
I only like Halloween 3.
There you go.
So Itai, where can people find you? Talk about My Indie Productions.
They can find me everywhere. Now, mainly on Facebook, My Indie Productions. The website is myindieproductions.com. And I am also fairly active on Twitter at myindieprod. But yeah, we generally are there, but through the website, we can be reached. You can contact us today. You can contact through Facebook, either my personal account or the My Indie page, My Indie group. We're out there.
You said that you're everywhere. Are you on like every street corner or something? Are you out there like hustling for
the funny thing about that, I said it as sort of a joke, but yeah, I'm not only not everywhere, I am literally only here.
Okay.
with COVID and everything, haven't been out all that much.
Uh-huh.
If you guys have heard over the past couple of years, I live in Melbourne in Australia. So Melbourne has been one of the most sort of locked down cities, worldwide.
Yeah, just ask, was it Novak Djokovic, the tennis player?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
ask him about getting into Australia.
I think he'd pass on that question.
He was gonna get in with no problem. The only thing was people started talking about it and voicing their opinion, and then there was a quick, turnaround, and they sent him back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think it's fair. I don't think he should have been let in because,
right.
Other people are not allowed to do these things. Why should he, just because he's a tennis player?
Right.
But I'm sure there's more to it.
Yeah. But let me go ahead and pass the floor to my co-host, and I'll start with you, Al. What's new on the Creature Feature Show?
Oh man, like I said, we're still upgrading the studio. Found a little sound glitch, so we're having some fun with that. But other than that, not a whole lot of new stuff. I am going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, not inside. Well, actually, I will be, but I won't have a table. But more on that when that comes up. And I am scheduled to be at a Halloween convention in May, I think it is, up in Oregon. So that should be fascinating.
So everybody knows that Halloween is in May.
That's right.
Sure.
Tell me again about San Diego. You're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, my favorite convention, but you're not going to have a table. You're just going to be. Are you guesting?
I'm not guesting. I wish I was guesting. I will be inside, but I will not be a person. I can say I'm not going to be a person that has a ticket and comes through the front door.
You need a ticket?
So Al, you're only going there?
When
you're only going there to talk up my indie productions project? That's nice.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Al, can I get a favor from you at San Diego Comic-Con? If you run into Robert Pattinson, can you put a chokehold on him and just not let go?
Okay.
Is he actually going to be there?
I don't know, but he is a guy that, because the Batman is going to be the big film this year, I would imagine that he'll be a guy that either he or his people or somebody involved will be there. And I think
the movie comes out in February, right?
It's something like that.
Yeah, and then Comic-Con's in July, so there's probably a chance that they won't have.
I'm not the Robert Pattinson fan. You could say I dislike him like decidedly, really, passionately. And so, a chokehold with some purple tongue protruding,
Does it have to be out of his mouth?
No, it doesn't have to be out of his mouth. It can be, but if you can get a vein bulging in his forehead, I'm there.
Kevin, can I just ask?
Good to know. We're going to be having some interviews.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, which one of us?
Itai, go ahead.
Go ahead, Itai.
Just wanted to ask Kevin a question about Pattinson. Is it just because of Twilight, or other films?
Mostly because of Twilight. I think that Twilight pretty much.
Have you seen him in other things?
Yeah, no, I have. I have seen him, and he actually has done some pretty good other things.
He's very, very talented.
But the Twilight series pretty much killed the vampire film.
The Twilight did the vampires.
Not for me.
I did for DC. Until
I didn't watch them. I didn't watch the Twilight films.
You dodged one then, Itai.
Yeah.
But why would you guys watch them? They're made for teenagers. They're not supposed to.
I walked in by accident. I'm sorry.
It was like a black hole. It just sucked in so many people into that franchise. It became culture. While it was.
It's not a vampire, film.
No, it was a love story. It was a sappy teen love story.
No,
exactly.
No, and the other thing that's less connected with Robert Pattinson is that I'm tired of these reimaginings of the Batman, formula, and this is,
What, you didn't like Triangle Man?
What's that?
You didn't like Triangle Man?
No.
No. You missed out on that one.
Can I make a prediction though?
Sure.
On the Batman, which is really weird calling it that, the Batman.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I think it's gonna, box office wise, it's gonna go nuts.
No doubt.
That's that's again the reason that these films are being made, and I agree with you. I don't think that they should keep making all these films, but it's very difficult to argue when they make that much money. I mean, look at the last, Spider-Man.
It won't reach Spider-Man. It won't reach the Spider-Man.
No.
DC is not Marvel.
And that movie was only decent.
Right.
There was nothing mind-blowing about it either. I mean, a lot of special effects. The last Spider-Man. I know we're getting off tangent here.
Yeah.
The last Spider-Man
I'm not a fan of any of the
Spider-Man. It was okay, but I think because of the pandemic, anybody was, people were looking for an excuse to go to the theaters and just see some spectacle for once, right? Just a break from the monotony.
We're not looking. This is a Marvel superhero film. We're not looking at Ingmar Bergman, let's change the world, or discuss the human condition. This is a film. Yeah, it's there isn't a whole lot new going for it. What I liked about it was, the reappearance of almost like old friends. The reappearance of Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus, reappearance of Willem Dafoe, Thomas Hayden Church as the Sandman. You got Jamie Foxx, you got all the Spider-Mans. Yeah, it's like watching comfort food, basically, and that's what it was. That's all it was.
Yeah,
that's it.
And we needed that after the pandemic.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and pass it to Joe.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Working on Joe.
What? Me?
Yeah.
What's this guy? Well, basically, yes. I was just talking about how, yes, as we're looking for that reboot of Blade to be hitting us hard. Please forgive me. And then let's see. Yeah, like I just recently found out that the sci-fi fantasy movie, The Sword and the Sorcerer, is coming out onto Blu-ray and DVD in February. Yes.
Lee Horsley.
Yes. And yes. And it'll be interesting. Just gonna be talking about horror movie stuff, and that's basically about it.
So
ever floating my boat this week.
I'm going to show you.
I know you're busy. You're busy in so many things. Oh yeah, show off that beauty.
Yeah, just got this contributor's copy in the mail. Did 4 pieces for this. This is really
what was the title of that again?
Table. Huh?
What was the title of it again?
Spotlight on Science Fiction.
Oh yeah.
And
great cover
for everybody. Thank you for everybody that thinks that this is just all about old stuff. This goes up to movies like Ready Player One, 2018. Yes. So, but I get to talk about or get to write about Colossus, the Foreman Project, Deep Impact.
I named on my computer's Colossus.
Yeah, Deep Impact.
Boo.
Which, if folks haven't seen it, I mean, it's Morgan Freeman as the president.
I love Deep Impact.
I love it. I love it.
I know that came around just the same time as Armageddon.
Yes,
and, there's
Armageddon killed it.
Awful.
Someone in Hollywood had a bright idea, and he got pulled into 2 different meetings.
Yeah.
Yes, and he got whopped by getting killed by Armageddon.
Yeah. But I think Deep Impact had much more emotional resonance for me.
Steven Spielberg had his imprint on it, even though he was tagged to direct it and couldn't. But he was one of the champions behind that project, and to me, it just wipes out Armageddon. So I've got this book out and some more stuff coming with Scary Monsters magazine. Still working on getting Joe Bob Briggs, the cover story for Scary Monsters. We'll see how that happens.
Good luck.
Who didn't grow up with Joe Bob? I mean, that was,
I'm old. I didn't grow up with him. I was already old when he came.
Well, okay, but who doesn't appreciate him or know his name? But I could see from Anthony that he's got a blank.
I wasn't raised on him either. Living outside the US, you don't really, get that much. I've only heard about him in recent years, getting involved in sort of horror community.
Yeah.
But I've met him many times. He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah, really nice. Really down to earth, isn't he, Al?
Yeah.
Really just kind of a...
Actually, he was asking me when I was going to do Nude on the Moon. Because, it's like G-rated porn. You like watching it, but you don't know why. Haven't done that movie yet.
G-rated porn? So porn for kids?
No, it was made before the Hays Code, so they can't actually show anything. But it's done it, and you couldn't just shoot stuff with nudity anywhere. It was illegal. So they had to shoot it on the grounds of a nudist colony.
Interesting.
Very strange movie.
I wouldn't have a problem if it was still illegal. So many films have nudity in them that just has no real reason to be there.
Yeah.
I don't mind nudity in films that, where it's actually part of the story, where it's necessary.
That's what I tell the producers I work with. I'll do a nude scene if it's part of the story, but only then.
Only then.
Doesn't want me to do it.
I'll start working on a script. Put a role in for you to run around naked.
There you go.
I will be there.
Well, Itai, I want to thank you for joining us on
Thank
the
you,
show.
Itai.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for sharing your trailers.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing us to talk about Ivy and Dolphin. These are wonderful films. And I hope you're able to go back to Israel and
I don't want any Salman Rushdie, things. I don't want like hear word of a filmmaker who was, shot at by an unknown assassin on a street. I don't want to, I don't want to hear that stuff. I want to see it.
Nobody would. They wouldn't waste a bullet on me.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't want you to be the future subject of a Liam Neeson, type of action thriller.
That's not a movie right there. I can be the Liam Neeson character.
Is Liam Neeson going to play me?
I see it now, Al.
I can do this. My wife will love it.
Yes.
Yes.
Kevin, Liam Neeson is supposed to play me. How old do you think I am?
No, you play me. I'll play him.
Okay, Matt Damon. Goodness gracious, want to make comparisons.
Closer.
Well, Al Omega as Matt Damon.
No, let's get Robert Pattinson. He'll do it.
There we go. And my
He's too tall to play me.
I escape by greasing myself up naked to squeeze through the bars. That'll be great.
I was just looking for the nudity scene. Can we just?
I think I should start a nude web series.
Hey, there you go, Al.
I'm ready for it.
Just know that we never show it to the Laker girls.
That's right. We're innocent here.
I can just see the videos
one.
being taken off every website available. Just blocks it.
I can see Al being all the rage on OnlyFans.com.
Hey, there we go. Well, that's our show, guys.
All right, thank you.
It's a lot of pixelating for the editor.
Itai, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
See what happens when we go off subject. We just get crazy.
Yes.
As it should be.
Enjoy horror, everyone. Till next time.
Remember, keep America strong. Watch horror films.
Oh.
Heard it here.
Bye.
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 Kill me.